This month, there has been a lot of podcasts about getting your life in order and achieving your goals. And I watched a few of them because I like them. They tend to give me some inspiration, and it's exciting to start the new year by planning your at least first quarter and having some goals. So I listened to these podcasts just to get inspired. Some of the information really wasn't new. I've heard it before, but it's a lot of fun just to hear it again. And one of the advice that is super popular is that we need to take action, right? We need to take action if we want to change something, if we want to achieve something, because if we don't take any action at all, then by the end of the year, we're going to be in the same place as we are now. And that's true. But the advice that stayed with me the most was that success is a game of skill acquisition. One of the podcasters said this, and I thought, that's true, right? Because if we want to achieve anything, we want to succeed, we want to make sure that we have the skills in order to succeed. It's obvious. And the more skills we acquire, the more skills we master, the better we're going to be at achieving whatever goal it is we have. Now, I'm going to talk to you about writing. And I want to share the key skills that you need to master in order to be a successful writer. That's what we're going to talk about today.
You have a story to tell, but you don't know where to start. Let me show you how to free your story. I teach you how to write and how to dig deep in your soul to release your story and make a difference in the world.
Welcome to the Julie Amante channel for Just Media. I'm Julie Amante, women's fiction author, and here to give you some writing tips to help you achieve your writing goal. So what better way to do that than to talk to you about acquiring the skills you need in order to become a really great author. So what I'm going to share with you today are the skills that I think are the most important and the key skills that you will need to succeed. Now, before I do that, I just want to say that, of course, success is different for everyone. Everybody's going to have a different idea of what being successful means. But most people, no matter who they are, whether they want to be a novelist, a journalist, or essay writer, whatever, will probably agree that being successful means that you get to write what it is that you want to write. And in order to do that, you really have to maybe have a readership, have people that are willing to read what you want to write, that maybe want to pay you for what you're writing, so that you're making maybe some money and you can make a living off of it. That would be really great, right? To be able to have someone pay you and be able to live off your writing. And also to have readers, because without readers, you know, it's great to write for our own pleasure, but it's a lot nicer when we have an audience. So maybe we can agree that that would incorporate success. Okay, so writing what you want, having some readers, maybe making some money off of your writing. Money isn't necessarily a must, but if you're thinking of writing as a career, then you probably do want to make some money from what you write. So I'm going to break this up into writing skills, business skills, creative and analytical skills, and technical skills. So if we as writers can gain all of those skills, we're going to have a better chance of succeeding in getting our goals. Let's start with writing. So what do you need to do to become a successful writer? Well, let's start with language. You want to have a really good command of the language that you're writing in, right? So that makes sense. We want to be good at that. So if you feel that you need help in this area, that you maybe need help with vocabulary or grammatical skills, then you want to gain some knowledge in that. Now, I do want to say that it's always important to do that, but it's becoming a little bit less important. I don't want to say less important, but less crucial, right? Because we have so many tools now that can help us. We have things like Grammarly, we have other tools that can help us find grammatical errors, punctuation errors. So even if we're not really wonderful at it, we have help. But you still need to know what you're doing. You still need to have good command of your language to be able to write well, to be able to write clean, concise, crisp writing and not make tons of spelling and grammatical errors, right? Now, if you do and that gets corrected, try to learn from that. So don't just allow Grammarly to suggest anything and then just accept it. You want to know enough that you can say, yes, this is a good change I want to make, or no, this isn't a good change. No, Grammarly, I'm going to write it the way I want to write it because I'm writing fiction or I'm writing dialogue, and it doesn't have to be perfect English. It doesn't have to be perfect writing, right? So know enough that you have command of your language, whatever language you're writing in, so that you will be successful at writing your books. The second skill under writing, or the second point maybe under the writing skills, is to be adaptable. So you want to be able to change, you want to be able to write in multiple genres. Not that you are going to write in multiple genres, but learn from different genres because you can borrow from them. If you're writing a thriller, you can borrow from a romance novel if you happen to have a romantic element in that book, right? So learn from different genres, be adaptable, be able to change, be able to modify a little bit of what you're doing, because you'll open up the world for yourself. You'll be able to write more. You'll be able to be a good social media writer, be able to market your books better if you learn a little bit of that, and I will talk more about that in business. But you want to be able to be more adaptable and also be able to write in different formats and maybe for different publishers. And second, obviously, is be a good storyteller. You want to learn your storytelling skills. Learn what storytelling is. Learn how to tell a good story. What's included in good storytelling? How do you build a good character? How do you build a good plot? What are the key points of storytelling? What makes readers want to turn pages? You want to learn that because obviously that's your goal, even if you are not, by the way, a storyteller. Let's say that you want to be a different type of writer. You want to write business proposals. You want to write for business. You still want to learn how to tell a good story. You want to learn why a hero, right, goes after a goal and it wants to achieve, and what obstacles can get in that character's way. So even if you're not going to be a fiction author, if you're going to be a nonfiction author, you're going to be a different type of writer. Learning storytelling skills will really help you to be any type of writer. The next point in the writing skills is being a good editor and being able to revise your work. Being a good writer is not just being able to write, but being able to rewrite until it says what it is that you want to say. Everything flows well, is clear, and is saying exactly what you want it to say. So being able to edit well, being able to revise well is another very, very important skill under your writing skills. So how will you get these skills? Well, reading a lot. Writers always tell you that, right? Make sure that you're reading widely, that you're reading a lot. Why? Because you start to see what works. You start to sometimes even mimic, right, what your favorite writer is like. And that's good. It's good to practice by becoming familiar with other writers' styles and other different formats. So read a lot, practice writing and getting feedback from other writers. So if you're trying to mimic a style, you also want to get some feedback. Like, is it working? Is it good? Is what I'm writing interesting to readers? Study books on storytelling. So if you want to learn how to become a better storyteller, learn the structure of storytelling. Read books like A Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogler or Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. The more books you read on writing and the structure of storytelling, the better writer you're going to become. Again, because you're studying this, right? Also, watch movies even. You'll learn a lot about the structure of storytelling by watching movies. And then there's a couple of books I want to recommend for studying revision and editing. One is called Developmental Editing, a handbook for freelance authors and publishers. The author is Scott Norton. Another one is Self-Editing for Fiction Writers by Brown and King. Both of those are really good books to read if you want to brush up on your editing skills. Okay, the second part or section of skills that you want to learn are business skills. And I probably will make another video just to go into a little bit more details of business skills. But quickly, what you're going to want to know is get some marketing and promotion skills. Learn how authors promote their books. You want to know how to use social media, for example. You want to know how to use email marketing, maybe how to write a newsletter, how to create an effective website. But what do writers do in order to promote themselves and market their books? The second thing is networking and communication skills. You really want to have strong networking and communication skills because that's what we're doing. You want to communicate with other authors, network at conferences, talk to editors, talk to agents. The better you communicate with these people, the more drawn they're going to be to you, and the stronger relationships you're going to build with industry professionals so that they can help you succeed. Another thing under business communication skills or business skills is understanding a contract. So if you do get a contract from a publisher, and if you have an agent, the agent will negotiate the contract for you. But you want to understand it too. You don't want to just rely on an agent to negotiate a contract. You want to understand what it is that you're signing. So read some books. There are some books out there on contract negotiation, and know at least for publishing, what are some of the rights that you are going to be granting to your publisher? What are some of the rights that you get to keep and or that you may want to keep or ask for? So again, don't rely on your agents. Agents don't have to take any classes, don't have to know anything about contracts in order to become an agent and to negotiate this for you. Most of them, if they've been around a long time, they've seen this many times. They know the different contracts from different publishers. But you know what's best for you. So spend some time learning what a publisher contract might look like and what you want to fight for. The last two is time management and organization. You are in control of your career, right? You need to be able to manage your time. You need to be able to plan out, have a planner, plan your time so that you have writing time, so that you have time to market your books. Be good at time management. So you also have to, of course, manage the rest of your life. If you have a full-time job or a family or whatever, you're going to need to be able to organize all of that. And in order to gain these skills, again, for like contract negotiation, you can find books out there, read them, learn a little bit about publishing law. Same with marketing and promotion. You can learn, there's a lot of articles online, there are blogs that talk about marketing and promotion. Writers have newsletters that talk about marketing and promotion. You can watch videos, so you can just spend the time finding those and learning about them. There is a digital marketer that I listen to. His name is Neil Patel. He has videos on YouTube. He also has a newsletter. I get his newsletter every day, it seems like. And some tips are good. Sometimes some things relate to writing, some things don't. But it's just interesting to learn a little bit about what digital marketing is like and what maybe you can use for your books. And as far as organizational tools, there's a lot of them out there. You can use things like Trello. You can use Kanban boards. I have one over here. Maybe I can turn this just a little bit on the wall so you can see. Mine's pretty empty. It's actually completely empty right now because I need to redo it and restart it. But Kanban boards are great because you can use little sticky notes to write down what it is, what projects you're working on, what you need to do. Are you editing a chapter? Are you writing a chapter? Are you writing a newsletter? What it is that you're doing, and it helps you visually keep track of everything. The third area is creative and analytical skills. What does that mean? So creativity, you know what that means, right? Do you need to work on creativity? Yeah, you do. Why? Because society, life tends to pull creativity out of us. We're all born creative. And another thing people will think and say is that you can't teach creativity. And kind of true, but not really. So you're not teaching creativity. We are naturally creative beings. We are born creative. If you just left us alone, we would normally and innately create things because we are creative people. But what happens? That's not celebrated. You're not told that it's okay to be creative. You're actually told that you need to be logical, you need to be practical, you need to work, you need to whatever, right? So society kind of drains that creativity out of you. And I want you to go out there and work on creative things. Work on becoming more creative. We'll talk about that, how, in a second. The second thing is research skills. You need to be able to research well. If you went to college or high school and you were not taught research skills, you were cheated, because you really do need to learn how to research, how to find information that you need. It seems very easy these days with Google and stuff, but that's not researching. You're just finding a bunch of information. How do you actually find information that you really need? How do you find the facts that are important for your story? Not everything is important out there. You need to know how to eliminate things that are not useful and find things that are useful. The next part is critical thinking skills. So we know that people are seriously lacking critical thinking skills. If we just watch what is going on around us, people do not think critically anymore. They don't ask questions. They rely on news, on commentators, so that they don't have to think, right? They just say, okay, well, this person says this, and so this must be true. We need to be able to think critically. And that's going to serve you because as a writer, you're creating a very complex thing when you're writing a story. It's not as easy as people think, right? There's a lot of moving parts into a story. You've got characters, you've got the plot itself, you've got all kinds of things that are happening, subplots maybe, in a story. So you need to have the ability to create the story and think logically on, what if this happens, then what does the character do? What if that happens, then what happens? And you need to be able to synthesize that to share it with your readers. So you need to be able to take maybe something that's complex, write it in a way that is easy and simple for your reader to understand, and then be able to deliver that to the reader. So for nonfiction writers, that might be even more important. For business writers, even more important. You need to be able to do all these things. My suggestions for gaining these skills is to maybe keep a journal and jot down things. Be a good observer. Observe things and note things down, and not only noting them down, but write down what do you think it means. Being creative a lot of times means noticing things, paying attention to the details. So take your time to observe things, pay attention to details, write them down, analyze what they mean. For creativity, I have 2 books to suggest. One is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Another one is an oldie but a goodie, or not too oldie, but early 2000s, Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. Both of these are really, really good on encouraging you to become more creative and to develop those creative muscles and to be proud of being a creative being. As far as research, take a class on how to research well. Take a course on researching skills. You'll learn things like how to conduct interviews or how to find proper sources, how to cite sources, especially if you're writing nonfiction, you might need to cite those sources, and how to fact check so that your facts that you are delivering are correct. And for critical thinking skills, read books on philosophy. Think about what people are saying. Maybe even practice the art of argumentation. How do you deliver a proper argument? What are some skills that you can gain there? So all of this will help you to be more creative and to be more analytical. Lastly are the technical skills. So as writers today, we have to understand our technology. We have to be proficient with our writing tools, whether they are things like Grammarly that are going to help us with our grammar, or even just a simple word processing system. What can it do for you? Should you use a writing program like Scrivener? Is Word perfectly okay? Can I use Google? What is it that I'm going to use to create my stories? So understand that technology. There's also Atticus, which I don't write in, but I really like because Atticus will help you to format your novels, especially if you are going to self-publish. You're going to need something like Atticus or Vellum. So any of the writing tools that are out there, you want to maybe investigate them, choose the one that works best for you, and really understand how to use it. Another thing, one that I'm actually working on, is SEO writing. So you can write a lot of stuff. You can write blogs, you can have your website and have really great content there. But if you don't really know how to make the internet find you, then you're writing for yourself because nobody else can find you. So SEO, understanding SEO and SEO writing is important. Again, that's what I'm working on. I don't know enough about it, and I know that I need to. So that's one of the skills that I'm going to work on this year. The next one would be like self-publishing tools. So you have to understand, so if you're self-publishing, you have to understand Amazon KDP. There are a lot of videos out there that you can check out, that you can look at, that are going to explain how to get your books up on Amazon, how to find keywords for Amazon. In fact, you can use the Kindle Rocket software that Dave Chesson has created. You might want to learn about other publishing platforms like Ingram Spark or Draft2Digital, which is the one that I use to get my books out there. So I use both Amazon and Draft2Digital. You can experiment on those. You also might want to experiment with other types of technology like design apps like Canva. For SEO, you can read blogs like Neil Patel's, but understand the technology that you're going to need and then take the time to learn about it and make those skills part of you. Make it so that it's not difficult for you to use the technology that you're going to need in order to run your business as a writer. So I said technical skills with the last one, and it really is, but I also want to add something else, that emotional and interpersonal skills, which is not crucial for you to be a writer, but one of the things under that is just to be resilient, because writers get a lot of rejection. Writers aren't always successful right away. Sometimes it takes a long time. So the more resilient you can be and the more you can keep going, even though it's a struggle, the more chances you're going to have of actually being successful, because it may take you a while to sell and to do well. So the more resilient you are, the more likely you are not to quit and to keep going. You also want to be disciplined, learn the skill of discipline. You want to write regularly every day, and you don't want to let other things get in the way. The more disciplined you are with yourself and your writing, the more chances of success you're going to have. And then maybe being empathetic. So just understanding other human beings will help you create characters better, because you'll be able to relate to your characters, even bad characters. You'll be able to relate to them because you're learning how to become more empathetic. So in conclusion, what I want to say is that writing is like every other profession. If you want to make it a career, you have to master the basic skills. Success really is a game of skill acquisition. The more skills you have, the better you are at those, the more you practice the basic skills. So anybody, even a professional writer, if they practice those skills again and again, it's going to become more innate and more natural for them, and they're going to be more successful at writing. If you practice them, you're going to be more successful with your writing career. So take the time to learn and master these skills to become a great writer in 2025. I hope that the video has helped you, that it's made you think about those skills. If you think of other skills that you need or that you would like to master, write those down, make a list and a planner. As part of organization too, you can have all these apps and visuals, but a nice planner is really all it takes. If you have a great planner, you can write things down and be nice and organized. So anything like that, write down what your goal is, how you're going to acquire these skills. What are the skills that are the most important for you? That marketing may not be super important right now if you're just starting. Maybe it's those writing skills, maybe it's something else. But make a list of those. Write them down, share them with me in the comments. You can ask me questions and I will answer you as soon as I can. So leave comments and please share the video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. It will definitely help me to continue to make videos. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.